Yelü Dashi, or Yelü Ta-Shih, was the founder of the Qara Khitai Western Liao dynasty. He was also known in Muslim sources as Nūshī Taifū, Qushqin Taifū, or Qushqīn, son of Baighū. Early life. Yelü Dashi was a member of the Khitan royal family, the 8th-generation descendant of Baighū, the founder of the Liao dynasty, which ruled areas of Inner Mongolia, Outer Mongolia, and Manchuria since the 10th century. He was born in perhaps 1087. He was described in Liao Shi as well-versed in Khitan and Chinese scripts, excelled in riding and archery, and had passed the highest imperial examination in the 5th year of the Tianqing era. He held various offices in the Liao administration, and rose to become a military commander. Jurchen invasion and end of the Liao dynasty. The Jurchens, a Tungus people native to Manchuria, established the Jin dynasty in 1115 and began to dominate Manchuria. The Jurchens formed an alliance with the Song dynasty Chinese to attack the Liao, and by 1122 the Jurchens had captured large part of Liao, including its supreme capital. The Liao Emperor Tianzuo fled to the western region, and his uncle Prince Yelü Chun then formed the short-lived northern Liao in its southern capital Nanjing. The Song forces under the command of Tongguan attacked northern Liao from the south, but under the command of Dashi and Xiaogan. The Khitan army was able to repel the Song attacks. However, the Jurchens continued to advance from the north, and eventually captured the southern capital in 1123. Just before the Jurchen takeover, Dashi slipped away with 7,000 of his troops to join the Emperor Tianzuo. Dashi was later captured by the Jurchens but escaped 5 months later to rejoin the emperor. However, the emperor signaled his intention to attack the Jurchens, which Dashi thought was folly as the Jurchens were in a strong position. Unable to convince the emperor, in 1124, Dashi led a band of his fellow Khitans and moved to Kedlan, a Liao garrison town in the northwest. Emperor Tianzuo was captured by the Jurchens in 1125 and the Liao dynasty ended. Rise of the Qara Khitans. According to Chinese sources, he started out with 10,000 horses, a small force assuming at least 2 horses for every man. In Keddan, Dashi took control of the Liao imperial horse herd, marshaled his forces, and recruited warriors from other tribes, and vowed to restore the Liao dynasty. He had by then 10,000 horsemen. However, Jurchens had grown far too strong, and in 1130, Dashi elected to move westward and established a base there. He was joined by other tribesmen, and the Uyghur ruler of the kingdom of Kachou pledged his allegiance. In 1131 or 1132, Yelü Dashi was pronounced the Gurkhan by his followers. He moved to strengthen his force, gradually expanding his authority over the Karluks of Kayali Canal Mali. He moved over Kyrgyz territory and built a town on the bank of River Emil, near Shaguchik. Defeat of the Qara Khanids. One wing of Dashi's force had made an early attempt at capturing the eastern Qara Khanid city of Kashgar in 1128, but was repulsed by the Qara Khanid ruler there, Ahmad B. Hassan. However, the Qara Khanid ruler of Balasaran, Ibrahim II-B. Ahmad, troubled by nomad army made up of Karluks and Kankli tribesmen, asked Dashi for help and invited his army to the capital. Dashi instead took the chance to seize the city and, according to Persian historian At-Malakuvani, ascended a throne that had cost him nothing. Dashi took in 16,000 Khitan former mercenaries in Balasaran, then established his authority over Kashgar, Khotan, the Kyrgyz, and the Uyghur center of Beshbalik. However, in 1134, an attempt to re-establish the Liao dynasty in China failed. Dashi continued to move westward into Fergana territory of the Western Qara Khanate state. In 1137, at Qujand, he defeated the Qara Khanate ruler Mahmud II, who retreated back to Samarkand. Battle of Katwan. The Qara Khanates were then vassal of the Seljuks, and Mahmud appealed to the Seljuk Sultan Ahmad Sunja for help. In 1141, Dashi, interceding in a conflict between the Qara Khanates and Karluks nomad, came into direct conflict with the Seljuks. Sunja marched his troops to meet the Qara Khitans. At the Battle of Katwan, however, Dashi achieved a decisive victory against the Seljuk Turks. The Seljuks' army suffered a great death toll, and Sunja barely escaped with his life, but his wife and some of his best warriors were captured. The power of the Seljuks sharply declined after the battle, and the Seljuk state collapsed into internal rebellion. The Qara Khitans became the dominant force in Central Asia, and Khwarezm and Qara Khanates became vassal states of his empire. Their empire controlled an area roughly equivalent to most of today's Xinjiang, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and southern Kazakhstan. His victory at Samarkand against the Muslim Great Seljuk ruler Ahmad Sunja, and his amicable relations with Nestorian Christianity, which flourished in the Qara Khitai, led to his association with the legend of Prester John, a Christian king in the East who was destined to vanquish Islam. Bishop Otto of Freising first chronicled the story in 1145. Death and legacy. Yelü Dashi died in 1143, master of much of Central Asia. At time of his death, the Qara Khitai encompassed the regions of Transoxiana, Fergana, Semi-Richi, the Tarim Basin, and Uguria. The dynasty Yelü established would last until its usurpation by Kuchlug, followed by conquest its domain by Genghis Khan in 1218.